Welcome back to another episode of Fully Stoked Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Sarah Stokes. My husband Cody is not with us today. He's actually sitting in the other room because I'm here interviewing Cory Wall, who is a friend of mine. She is a real estate advisor in Western North Carolina. She is a community networker and connector and does a lot of good service projects, and we're going to talk about that more. So welcome back. Let me just explain who I am and why I do this. So I am a senior mortgage loan advisor by day, and I do that for a living, but I really enjoy connecting people, women specifically, because I'm in a lot of women entrepreneur groups, to the viewers. And I think we can all glean from and learn from other women's experiences in business and in life, really. So Cory has, she's a young woman, but she has lived and impacted her community quite a bit. And she actually lived through Helene. We'll talk about that not too long ago. I know you all will remember Hurricane Helene that came through Western North Carolina and Florida and a lot of other states too, but that's where Cory lives. So thank you for being here, Cory. It's so nice to have you. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, Sarah. This is so fun. I love it.
Yes. So Cory, you're usually on the other side of the camera for podcasting, right? You're usually the host because you have your own podcast. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so similarly to you, I started a podcast called Momentum in Real Estate, and it's just interviewing other realtors, typically women across the country. And it's just been so fun to just glean from what they do and just uplift each other and encourage each other and connect, and to be able to give referrals out to other states too has been just so fun. So it's just really nice because we're all in this together.
That's right. That's right. Well, I didn't know it was nationwide. That's fantastic.
Mhm.
Yeah. So my friend Shane Hollefeld was on your podcast not too long ago. And where can people find this podcast if they wanted to go listen to it right now?
All the platforms. So anywhere you can listen to it, you can. YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, like all the places it's posted.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. Well, and I'll put a link to it. All right. So let's get into, what you do by day. You're a realtor, and like kind of what area do you live in and do you work in?
So I am in Asheville, North Carolina, but I live in Fairview, which is like 15 minutes southeast of Asheville. And I typically work about an hour away from my home. It just depends on if I know the area. So I'm born and raised here. So I want to make sure I can tell people where to hike, where to eat, where to grab a beer, and then I'm good. If I don't know those things, I will find a referral partner that does.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. Okay. So just right outside of Asheville is where you live, and you work like a radius of at least an hour. So all over the place. That's awesome. So what originally pulled you into real estate?
So I used to do special education software, and meaning I was a consultant. And in 2020, when COVID hit, I got laid off because of a reduction in force. And it was such a blessing because I was talking to a lot of my friends and family about doing night classes for real estate. I have been told multiple times, like, you're such a people person and love, where you live, and being born and raised here, I know a lot of the nooks and crannies. um,
Yes.
so anyway, so when I got laid off, I had like 7 weeks of severance pay. So it was like perfect because it's a 6 week class that I took,
Yeah.
and I just launched my business. So yeah, I got pulled in. I feel like most real estate agents say they get pulled in because they love looking at houses, but not that I don't love looking at houses. I just more so come from a service heart where I just love to serve my friends and family.
And you like to spend time with people. You're like
Mhm.
one of those that likes to actually be with people and yeah, serve them. That's awesome. That is awesome. I feel like we are similar in that respect for sure. Just got off of like a marathon 4 hour, 3.5 hour call. It was a long one. But we were just talking about how to connect people and serve them best. So I think that's very cool. So over the last couple of years, I guess you got in because you were motivated. You wanted to serve people in your community, and you also know the nooks and crannies. Has it evolved over time? I mean, clearly you've got a podcast on real estate, and you're interviewing women from all over the country. That is so cool. Like, how do you even get connected with them?
That's so fun. So we use a service called Icons in real estate where they help podcasters and help find our guests. So they've been super amazing because they've really connected with our avatar of a guest and really helped us find people that we really have just connected to on a high level. So it's been really awesome. Um, and I think just because of the heart of service, kind of, very similarly to you, when you start producing and start having production in this business, like there's more to it. I've just learned that a lot of real estate agents are kind of siloed because we're all entrepreneurs and we're all 1099 employees. So, and sometimes you can feel so isolated. So to me,
Yeah.
it's really important that we all, um, I mean, a rising tide rises all ships, or I can't say the saying correctly, but
Yeah.
you know what I'm
Yeah.
trying to say. Like if you're serving others, that is super, super important. And it's funny that was just reiterated in a book that I'm reading, by Brendan Burchard, wait, the High Performance Habits, I think it is. Um,
Ooh.
and I'm listening to it. It's a very good listen. And it talks about how helping others is one of the habits and one of the pillars of being a high performer
Yeah.
in any industry. So,
Oh, I'm gonna have to check that out. I will definitely get that. So the high performance habits by Brendan Bouchard, right?
yep.
All right, guys. There's your homework. You can get this book and read this, or you can get it on Audible, apparently. So that's
Yeah.
great. So it's evolved over time, and you've done a great job serving your community. I wanted to talk a little bit about Helene because not too long ago you were doing a Facebook Live, and I hopped on, and it was very powerful. You were just talking about your community and how it had been impacted, and all the things that you're looking forward to doing, and really it's just very service. You do a lot of service. Can you just tell us a little bit about maybe what your experience during Helene was? And I think you did tell me one time, or at least on the live, you were talking about how your personal home was affected, and then your community surrounding. I think you guys were having a parade, maybe. I can't remember what it was. Yeah, tell us about all of that. That's very interesting. And then because a lot of people from Charlotte still want to know how they can help too.
Yeah. Oh man, there's so many ways. And it's a really, it's a topic that's really close to my heart, being born and raised here, and talking to many clients who relocate. I'm like, this is perfect. We don't experience any of the crazy natural disasters.
I
And
know.
then that shifted. We had the once
Yep.
in a 1,000-year flood,
Yeah.
and we have experienced floods and we know how to experience that, but not to this extent. And it truly brings me to tears every time I can talk about it because our community, as soon as it hit, every single person was like, don't help me, help that person, like even though their like houses were crushed or things were happening to them. And then fast forward 6 months, 7 months, all the way to a year, people are like, okay, actually, I need help. Um,
Mhm.
so my experience, I was pretty scared. I was in Charleston and heard about the storm through a client. I really was kind of oblivious to it. On Wednesday, I heard about it. So we were headed home Thursday night. The storm happened Friday morning. Thursday night, my husband got called out. He's part of the SWAT team, and he got called out and didn't get home till midnight. I ended up putting the kids to bed on the upper floor. We live in a very mature neighborhood, so like lots of these huge, huge trees. Um,
Mhm.
but when my husband got home, I go, we're moving to the main floor. So we did. The boys are I have 4 and 6-year-old boys, and they were pretty scared, and still scared today. My 4-year-old actually mentioned to me that he was like kind of darting his eyes up at the trees a couple days ago when it was windy and just like looking, and I was like, "Are you okay?" And he's like, "I'm scared they're gonna fall on me." It's just so sad. So a lot of people, and my story is like just a couple trees fell and like tarped it. It was super easy. Um, but I don't know, there's a little bit of echo. Is that gonna be a problem? I'm sorry. I know you can edit this.
No, there's an echo cancellation on my end. I can't hear it at all. And
Okay.
this will be cut out. This will be cut out. Don't worry. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, good. Um, so my experience, while so small, where other people lost family members or lives, still is very traumatic. But I realized in that moment that there's going to be so many people that need our help. And then my business, of course, just took a plummet, which I mean, totally understand. You know, nobody could make a move or figure out where they were in life. So I ended up connecting with some friends, and now they're like lifelong friends who started a nonprofit called Fairview Strong. And I don't think I will ever give money to big corporate recovery centers again. Not that they didn't help and didn't do a great job, and they did connect with us as a small mom and pop nonprofit, but more so because they don't know our neighbors. They don't know our people.
Yeah.
And whereas us starting this nonprofit, we know exactly who is in that holler, who needed help, what they need, because we're constantly connecting with these people. So I felt, being a part of this community, I felt like I had to do something. So as soon as
Mhm.
childcare came back and I was able to hit the ground running, like I just got into the community and tried to figure out how I could help. So creating social media videos, you know, doing what I could. And we are currently in the process of our 6th home. Which is really awesome, but more than that, it has been like connection central. Like
Yeah.
we know Habitat for Humanity is creating a neighborhood and they've sat at our table. We know Samaritan's Purse can do this, Renew Asheville or Renew NC can do this. You know, like we have been able to be the hub of all the other nonprofits. Like 828 Strong is a great one. And we know, you know, they're looking for a camper for a single guy right now. So like we really are knowledgeable of all of our community, and we're really focused in Fairview and rebuilding. So any other inquiries that come in, we try to help in the way that we can.
So Fairview Strong is this something that you said a couple of your other friends started this nonprofit? Is that right? Okay. So
Yeah,
if
I
anybody
didn't necessarily start it. I just was
okay,
there from the very beginning, jumping on
okay,
board.
nice.
Joanne Winkler, who is an insurance amazing guru, like third generation home insurance, all the insurance person. She's amazing. She's the president. Jenny Brunette, who's another realtor in our area, and then Amy Bertelli, she's a vet and really stepped up to the plate. And Phil Troyer, who's another like Fairview person, like we all just banded together and figured it out. So
That's awesome. So is there a website or anything if people wanted to check out Fairview Strong?
yeah, so fairviewstrong.org, and technically our 501c3 is called fairviewstrong.org because
Got it.
Fairview Strong was already taken from I think COVID times.
Oh, wow. Okay. I might can move it up a little bit. So, okay, cool. Gosh, that's really, really good to know. And I want to tell everybody too, because it comes up quite a bit. So when I can, when my children go to their father's house, you know, I'll go and spend time with my husband. And so I really live in two cities, and it is unique in that I need to meet people. You know, I need an insurance provider in Western North Carolina. I've been asking around. Okay, so that's really good to know. Gosh, that's a lot of great information. I think people are still asking how they can help, so I'll tell them to check out the website. So you talked about you have two young children and some of the challenges that your 4-year-old is still facing to this day after going through the hurricane. And like, how is it that you balance all of it? Because you're a mom, you have a podcast, you have nonprofit, you work as a realtor. I mean, like, how do you balance it all as a busy mom of two young children? That is young, 4 and 6. Wow,
Yeah,
you're
it's so
busy.
fun. It's wild. And it has, this is my 6th year, of real estate, and it really has taken a lot of failing forward moments,
Yeah,
um, for sure. But
and
I would
yeah,
say like my biggest advice for anybody in this position with small kids and then a husband that works full time, like that find help. Like,
oh, for
especially as an
sure.
entrepreneur, we are constantly, juggling it all. And I think it is so, so important to find support. So, cleaning the house, decorating for Christmas,
Yeah.
I mean, you name it, finding a food service. For me, it was hiring a nanny was my very first thing, and then hiring an assistant that was 20 hours. And this year will be my first year with a full-time assistant, which I'm super excited. It's already, you're just return on investment as an entrepreneur is huge because you can do what
Hmm.
you do best and give the things that another person would be good at. Not that
Yeah.
I don't want to spend my time with my kids like I do, but having them here at my house rather than from, it took 2 hours round trip each day because my husband's is my 8 to 6. So he couldn't drop them off and pick them up. So it was on me. And yeah, I can listen to podcasts and do things, while I'm driving, but that's a lot of time that is taken
Yeah.
away from your business. So I just learned that, like, okay, I could sell 5 more houses. And can I do that? With what is that? 10 more hours in my week. Could I sell 5 more houses a year? And it's like, yeah, I could do that. So, delegation is absolutely my number one thing that has helped keep my sanity. But
Yeah.
like I said, having them here has been so beautiful. Like at lunchtime, well, one of them's in school, but when he comes home from school, I get to see him, like I can just step out of my office and say hello. So it's sweet.
That's fantastic. That's such good advice. I think you have to be quite organized to be able to see the big picture too, you. So I bet you are very organized. I'm just
Mhm.
guessing. Would you say that that's one of your attributes?
Yeah, definitely with hiring staff has really proved to make me more organized than I was. I can tell you that. It like pushes you to do that.
Mm-hmm. So many of my girlfriends and I talk about like, when is it time to hire somebody? When is it time? And everybody who gets to that point, I've heard it said you actually need to hire somebody before you think you're ready to hire somebody. And it really frees you up and it really does create, more success or more opportunities for success, more opportunities to serve. You just, yeah. So that's really good advice. I'm taking that from you, Cory. Really, really good advice.
And that's really good what you just said too, because I mean, it's so true. I wish I would have done it, years ago, but here we are.
Yeah.
We're learning.
Here you are. Yes, yes. So you've said that sustainable success comes from alignment, not hustle. What does that shift look like for you? And yeah, tell us a little bit about that.
Sometimes you are just constantly hustling and just looking at your to-do list every single day, but sometimes it just means you have to take a breath and think about the big picture, like you just said, and get aligned with exactly what is needed to move your business forward. I have a business coach right now. Shout out to Kristen Ripmaster Coaching. I know you
Kristen,
know her, and I met her through your group Thrive, so I really appreciate
yay.
Sarah for that.
She's
Um,
awesome.
and she has just been so incredible, but one thing she has said is like, how are you moving your business 1% forward? That is her like number one quote to me, and it's just so so helpful because you can just be grinding and grinding and you're not getting to the place that you actually want to until you slow down, get your vision board out, like look at your
Yeah.
goals and really align yourself with what you're trying to accomplish.
That's good. Alignment. I am learning so much from you. Maybe you have a future in coaching too. You never know.
I'll leave that to Kristen.
Yes, yes. Well, I mean, I'm going to ask you a question about leadership, but really and truly, you are giving good advice, and that is one of the best qualities of a leader is that you've learned enough as you've lived that you can offer advice. So, anyway, how do you define leadership in this season of your life and in this season of your business?
That's a good question because I mean, I never feel like a leader. I
Oh my
don't even
goodness.
all these things. I just, and I guess that's part of the thing that Coach Kristen's working with me on is like, hello, like look around. Um, but I guess I really am trying to focus on the people that are in front of me and help them. And that is leadership in my world right now. Um, I didn't get to tell you this, Sarah, and I should have, but I am launching a book. I think I told you actually when we saw each other last, but
Oh, wow.
we're in the editing process of our book, and it's about events and entrepreneurship, specifically with real estate agents. Um, so that's kind of what I'm really working on in the leadership world of my business. Trying to create something that people can read. It's going to be super short, super easy to get through, digestible, like PDFs to go along with it, workbooks. It's going to be super awesome for people. And we've proven that it really works to help people get referrals instead of cold calling all day.
That is amazing. Amazing. That is
So
so cool. So, do you have a name yet? Are you allowed to say what the name is, or are you going to wait until it goes live?
we are still kind of working on it. So as soon as I think it's going to be like one big event,
Okay.
or one, now I don't even know. I'm just like
Well, you know
events,
what? You don't have to
entrepreneurship.
know yet. Yes, you're in the editing phase right now. That's exciting. I can't wait to read it because I am a big fan of events. I think, networking and connecting with people is how you serve, but also is how you connect and is how you can grow your business too. So I'm a big fan of that. I cannot wait to read it. Maybe we can do like a book study on it or something. I love it.
Love that. And how cool is it that like, I've been to your Thrive. I've gotten
Mhm.
connected with Shane because of that and just adore her and had her on my podcast. And then Kristen Ripmaster, my coach, like I am a perfect testament.
It's an example of the connections. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not just about business. It's about life. It's about, friendships. And maybe we can, like, for example, get this young man a camper. Who
Yeah.
knows? Like, these connections it's just life. And I think, we have the computers and we have technology. We can work from home. But just what you were saying earlier is like sometimes you feel alone. Even though I've served people and I work with people, I talk to people all day long, I'm just sitting at my desk a lot, and so it's hard to make those connections unless I'm intentional about it. And that goes back to what you were saying is what you're working on your leadership is you're intentional about serving who's in front of you right then and right there. I think that's fantastic. Your book's going to be amazing. It's going to serve more people. Intentionality is one of my words for the year. Refinement is another one. So I'm trying to be intentional and refine all the things that I do as well. So I just love seeing, hearing all this. This is so helpful to me. And you're so much younger than me, but you have so much wisdom.
I think
So
that's
you
true.
know, it
30,
is.
right?
Yes, I'm 37. No, plus 10 or 12 or 15 or something like that. So tell us about some pauses, pivots, failures. You said falling forward is how you're doing this. Tell us about some of these things that have contributed to your success. You know, in the long run. Do you have any failures that people can glean from, or any pauses or pivots?
I mean, there's many, so I
Yeah,
could go on all day,
you
but
do. Yeah.
one, right, the one that goes in that I think would serve people the most is I call them shiny squirrels because we all have in any industry that you're in, there's a gazillion different avenues that you can take and a gazillion different things that this person's successful because of this person's successful because of this. And especially being social media heavy as we are, and how much, is in your face ads, everything constantly, um, just don't stop it. Just stop it. And I think I did that in the beginning. I was like, oh, I'm gonna cold call. I'm gonna go door knocking. I'm gonna do an open house every day. And then I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Am I enjoying this? Like, it burnt me out. Like, to make a phone call,
Mhm.
I think I was about to jump off a building. Like, I don't want to get cussed at. Like, I
Right,
don't.
right.
So, so I
So
think
what
just
did
try
you,
not to chase the shiny objects.
I
Shiny,
love that.
shiny squirrels is what I called them. Where you're like,
I
squirrel.
love it. That's really good advice too. Um, okay, so encouragement for listeners. What's the message you hope someone listens to today and really, really takes to heart?
I think just be you, I see so many people in this real estate industry that are so successful, and I am just enamored by them making 300 calls a day and doing whatever they
Right.
do, and I love them. They're in my world, but I can get so burnt out being like, "Oh, I should do that," and comparing yourself. So just stop and talk to yourself, and what are you really good at? Because that is when we're going to last so long and help our friends and family the best, is when we're being the best version of ourselves and getting rid of all the, Coach Kristen calls it the saboteur words in your brain, and get that all out and focus on, what you're really good at and what you're doing every day to serve your community.
Man, you're doing so much of that too. So thank
Mhm.
you for doing that. Thank you for this conversation, your honesty, your perspective, your wisdom, and really appreciate it. So we'll be on the lookout for your book, and I'm going to check out some more of your podcasts. I hope everybody does. Um, and I'm going to try not to chase any shiny squirrels ever again. That's easier said than done, but I don't think I'm going to do that. I do think your message will resonate with women, moms, especially moms of young kids, because I'm a little past that point. So I'm so glad that you spoke to that, and you have great success. You really do. You're using your resources. You're using Kristen Ripmaster's coaching, and I just love all the things you do. It's inspiring. So thank you so much for sharing your time with me. And is there anything you want to leave the guests with before we sign off?
You know, I I guess yes, I will. One of my all-time favorite books is The Gap and the Gain, and I feel so bad I cannot think of the author right now, but it is so good. And I've made my husband read it. It's so good for people with kids. It's so good for people that are entrepreneurs. It's so good for just anybody. But
Okay.
the biggest message is, like, when someone, for instance, for me, when I broke my foot, I was so upset. I can't exercise, I can't, but I'm thinking about all the things I can't do instead of, what do I have to gain from this? What is this teaching me? So just constantly changing
Mm,
your mindset and not looking at the gap, what you're missing out on, what's happening, but look at what there is to gain in life. And it's truly even helped me with parenting my children. Like, wait, hold on, hold on. What are we grateful for? Let's think about, our warm house, or what we have.
yeah,
So,
yeah. That's really good. So it's called The Gap and the Gain. Okay,
you got
I'm
it.
gonna get that book too. And
Perfect.
just as a side note, last night we were sitting at dinner, and my husband and I decided we were going to talk about, some of the kids were not as happy as they could have been, right? Even though they were out of school another day because of the snow or whatever. So we talked about 5 things we were grateful for, and it really did change the entire mood. Yeah, so when you start looking for good things and positive things and things to be grateful for, it changes your whole perspective. It's awesome.
100%.
Thank you
100%.
for that, my guru, wise young friend. I appreciate everything that you've said here, and I will follow up with an email. Guys, follow her on social media. She's great.
Oh, thank you so much, Sarah, for having me. You're the best.
Thank you. Thank you. Take care. Until next time. We'll see you later. Bye.